Arab and Gulf countries' food faced many changes because these countries opened the closed doors and became more open to the world. For example, they have a lot of sharing with other countries via the worldwide trading system that have been increased sharply. Also, nowadays people are more educated and has increased knowledge in terms of food and health. And according to that, some people change their diet to be healthier. Arab and
My grandmother was born at 1960 and she is now 58 years old. She grew up in Al Ain Desert, which is a rural area called Aramela, and people lived there called Bedouins.
the food was so basic, like bread they bite from the center of the city, in addition to some traditional food such as haris, makbous, khabisa, dates, dried fish, khamir, mahalla, and balalit. Emirati pancake.
The food that they ate previously has changed partly, like some flavors and main components has changed, but it's still available to eat. Also, my grandmother thinks that the food that we eat now are much healthier and nourishing, since it has more nutrients which make the people strong and healthy, unlike the old food that has less nutrients.
They were depending on their own farms to feed themselves, and they had two types of farms, one for the dates and the other one was animal farms, which almost was a sufficient source of their food. Another thing was their traditional market that located in the center of the city. In this market were various types like fish market, spices, vegetables, rice, beans, tea, and coffee markets. Also, these fruits and vegetables wasn't available all the time, but only in special seasons.
When I asked her about her favorite food, she said that in the past I used to like the makbous, rice with meat, and now she really likes the waraq inab besides the traditional food and homemade food.
I asked her, what do you think of these changes you have been seeing in your lifetime with regards to food and agriculture in our country? She said that lifestyle is changing very fast as time passes, and she said that in the past they used to have less choices of food compared to our generation, but still they were healthier than us because our food has preservatives and chemicals that may lead to several types of diseases and obesity. And according to this, we can agree that everything has two sides, a positive and a negative side. When it comes to the positive side of our food, it helps in changing the trade of agriculture of UAE and boost it higher and higher.
I got a lot of information about our food history and how our grandparents used to suffer to get the food. And it was a great time with my grandmother to sit with her and ask her about their old days. Because I like to talk and discuss things with elderly, and it brings joy to my heart listening to them, since they have more experience than mine in this life.
In addition to that, I learned that they were strong and worked extremely hard for everything they want to get. And this lesson we shouldn't forget and maintain it in our life, because they sacrificed their own comfort to reach their own needs and goals. So keeping this as a principle in our life will help in our country development.
Food and agriculture sector have been changed from the past to the present. And for me, this topic is such an enjoyable one to talk about. Also, since it's my first time to talk about it, became more interesting to me. It helped me to discover some new things and focus on other things like everyone should be patient and patient in his life. Moreover, all people should know about the food and culture to make sure that it is going to be preserved and transferred to the grandchildren and the generation of the future.
أنا سلامك الله كل حي في أرض أباه يزرع.
أنا
بحضر له الماء
إيه
وبحضر له التشويه وبحضر له كل شيء. القادر يزرع واللي ما بقادر أنا بزرع له. في كل أرض فيها ماء وفيها تستوي الزراعة أنا بزرع له. كان في أقصى الحدود، حدود الدولة، غرب أو شرق.